Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm with Travis Johnson from Titleist. We are going to check out the brand new line of Titleist GTS drivers and help you understand the technology inside the models and who they might be for. We are going to hit them and Travis is going to give us all the information about them. You're going to learn everything you need to know about Titleist GTS drivers in this video, so stick around. Okay, so Travis, I have got the GTS2 in my hands. Can you lean into a little bit about the brand new GTS2, some of the technology and who it might be for?
Absolutely. 2, 3, and the 4. The 2 is not changing its place in the family. So it's still going to be considered the higher launching, higher spinning of the 3. And then the idea is it's still very, very stable as well in the new one. Couple things that are going to change: the new forward and back weighting. So what you're going to notice now is we have a little bit of freedom to continue to add to that versatility. So you can make an already stable driver that much more stable for the player if it needs that.
And it basically comes off the rack with the 11-gram weight in the front, so the heavier weight up front.
Correct. So 11 and 5 gram weight in those. So 11 in the front, 5 in the back. Those are swappable. But when you have 11 in the front, it's going to provide that slightly more middle of the road feel, where there's some workability to it. And then when we really need maybe a little more launch, a little more help getting it up in the air, you can move that forward weight back, and then we'll see that lift come in. And
looking down it, everything just looks smoother this year. The edges are all kind of tapered off. I love the little highlight of the weight in the back, just showing that port's in there. Looking down on it, it still looks like, you know, the traditional 2 shape that I know and a lot of people love. Really dominant driver in our fitting bays last year. The key add, I guess, this year, we've got the split mass technology. So the entire centerpiece of the driver is your thermoform, what used to be crown.
Yes, so it started with that PMP material that we had introduced in the GT family, whereas before it was simply that crown piece. And turning it into a thermoform body, now it wraps around the entire center of that head. And so that's what really gave us the ability to get creative with moving that weight around to create that split mass idea where the weight is distributed kind of like a dumbbell almost, where all your mass is at the front and the back end, which is how we're able to have both those front and back weights in all of the models now.
I love that. I think that's a great feature this year. I'm looking forward to hit it. This is generally my first time that I'm hitting this product. So this will be the GTS2 with the weight forward. This one here is a toe hit for me. And I guess this is who GTS2 is aimed at. The player who doesn't strike the middle every single time, still wants to keep that launch up, still wants to keep that spin up. It's just going to provide more stability.
So 2, the main goal is the idea that it's going to provide a little bit of confidence for a wider variety of players. If I'm not hitting dead center on the face, we're going to get away with it a little bit.
So as you change the weight in the back, so you move net grams of 6 grams from front to back, the driver's going to become, you know, more stable. It's going to maybe present a little more loft, prevent it from turning as hard.
So the main idea with moving that weight forward or back in general is going to be, can it affect that rotation of the head? So the 2 is going to feel the most rotationally stable of the 3, and when we move that weight further back, we're building and kind of increasing on that feel to make it harder to maybe feel like you can snap it left.
What I love about the 2 is it still looks like a tour driver, but it offers a lot of forgiveness and even more forgiveness that year with the movable weight. I think a lot of people, maybe, I don't know, if they get fit, but they don't want to tinker with it. I think this year you might have that. It's like almost 2 drivers in one.
Kind of. So like the idea is we've always kind of joked about how many drivers you have per club because of the SureFit hosel. But now we're adding a layer to that with the interchangeable weights for sure.
And it does, you know, I know that this is not titanium on the crown, but it still sounds very metallic, which I think is a Titleist staple, right? Like it's something that people love, that cult following. It has to feel like a Titleist, even with the new tech. Little bit of strike there. Might give us an idea of some launch and spin. Hopefully we can try and separate these from the GTS3 and the GTS4
That feel like a more solid strike for
There
you?
was, it was maybe still a little high in the face there, but it's definitely launching, you know, and I think that's what GTS2 looks like to me. When I set it down, it's got that nice, slightly extended shape from front to back. It makes it feel like I can sweep it. It makes it feel like the ball's going to start a little higher, easier for me.
So that high kind of center miss is something that we kind of planned for in the new GTS family. So we had speed ring faces in the GT family. We built upon that idea with speed sync in the new ones, where instead of it being that solid ring like you see in GT,
internal here,
it's got a slightly open-ended top line. And so if you do hit it high center, you're getting a little bit more help out of that top end of the face. And so shot like that, where you're like, maybe that's a little high center, maybe the spin came down just a little bit like you would expect, but you're gonna keep the speed on the launch so it still can fly a very similar distance.
Yeah, the worst thing when I hit it high in the face is just that quick knuckle out of the air. You like to see it just like hang in there a little bit longer, keep carrying for me.
For sure, and that was the idea behind why we did that.
Certainly stable. I haven't hit many shots near the middle there, but I feel like that one, over 300 yards with a miss hit, is a pretty impressive technology pack.
It's a good place to live.
Yeah. Okay, let's jump into the next model with the GTS3 and let's highlight the key differences between it and the 2.
So as you move into the 3, you're gonna see the shape change. It's gonna become a little bit more compact. And the idea is you're moving down the line in terms of how much launch and spin is the head geared toward creating. So if we mentioned at the beginning, 2 is going to be the highest launching, highest spinning of the 3. 3 is going to be the middle ground between the 2, and 4 is going to be your most spin and launch reductive.
So what are the key shape changes between the GTS2 and the GTS3?
So you're going to see the 3 get a little more compact front to back, and that face is going to get a little bit taller. And the idea is you're going to see these shapes kind of trending that direction as you go from 2 to 3 to 4. And the premise is that shape is what allows us to start to manipulate the flight characteristic. So 2 is going to be remaining the higher launching, higher spinning of the 3. The 3 model is going to be that middle ground of playable lower spin. And then 4 is your ultimate in spin reduction.
Okay. What I do like is the addition of the rear weight this year here. I guess you can play around with that from swing weight. You've got different weights that you can put in the front, so you can have a bit of everything. You've got CG left to right, front to back.
For sure. And so like, maybe you're moving weight east and west in the head to help a player with strike location. Maybe it's a little bit for direction, but then taking that weight and even just swapping it. You know, if I take the traditional 8 and 5 that come in the head and I just move the 8 gram back, we can almost make it play between the 2 heads.
Yep.
And kind of start to, maybe that player responds really well to a 3's feel, but we need a little bit of maybe the 2's launch window.
Yeah.
And so we're able to fill the gaps in now between these models.
I think that's been a real huge one for us in the fitting bay. People that kind of need more of a 2 but want the look of a 3, now that's the real legitimate option.
Yeah.
I do also like looking down, I can clearly see the face on this. Looks like they've brightened up that face technology this year.
Yep.
I like seeing that loft on the driver. And what I also love about it is don't change if it isn't broke. The profile still looks like that 3, that traditional 3 to me, looking down at it.
Some of the most kind of vocal feedback we get is don't change the 3.
Right.
You know, kind of don't mess with what isn't broken, so to speak.
It just looks so good, looks so clean. I think the angle that I can really see on the 3 is the aft of the driver.
Yes.
Really
so
seems to whip up quicker this year.
it's that new kind of aerodynamic package that we're introducing where because we were able to move weight around and get a more creative with CG, it allowed us to push the limit on shape a lot more this time around.
And I think it might be a little higher level, but the ability to have the driver quickly raise up like that, making it faster through the air, and still being able to have CG exactly where you want it is a really tough engineering problem.
So that has been the core of everything we've been trying to accomplish is how are we able to walk that line between creating a driver that is both stable and fast. which has traditionally always been a problem in driver design.
And this year, I guess with that, the split mass technology, having that such lightweight through the middle, I mean, I picked that piece up on its own.
Yep.
It's like you haven't got anything in your hand, and having all that dumbbell feel at front and back just gives you guys the absolute precision of putting CG where the player needs it.
Yes.
This one definitely feels a little different. It feels a little thicker. You know, it's hard to explain. It has got that taut feeling off the face, stronger feeling off the face.
And so what you are potentially perceiving in that is going to be, as you move CG forward through each one of these models, they do swing different. You know, swinging a 2 is not the same thing as swinging a 4 because they are going to behave different through the golf swing with that center of gravity difference.
That felt a lot better.
That was a good swing.
So it's interesting, definitely launching a little lower there, maybe spinning a little lower on that shot, and I think that's the first one I can hit that I'm like, that's really good. But maybe that points to me being more of a 2 where I'm not hitting it in the middle enough.
And so that's kind of where like maybe 3 top end to top end, the 3 was a fraction faster off the face, but spin and launch did come down. So then maybe does that introduce for some players this, I maybe hit it a little bit harder, but is it tougher to find?
Right. And that's the tough thing about driving. Everyone wants to go fast, but you got to keep it on the road.
Yep.
What does the GTS4 bring this year?
So the new 4 model is going to have the most dramatic change from the year previous. So no longer a smaller club head. So we went from that smaller feel that was always kind of asked for by a certain crowd of tour players versus now there's less demand for that. And then we made it match everyone else. So you get 460cc, but we're still keeping with the DNA of that low spinning, lower launching flight profile. If the shape now also maybe looks slightly more familiar, we brought back something that might kind of like some people will like. It looks like a TSI3.
Yeah, I mean, it looks much closer to the 3 model. I've always been a little frightened of the 4, frankly. It looks smaller to me. I think a lot of players would maybe just dismiss the 4 just knowing what its origins were, but hearing what you just told me about the story, I think it's going to open up a new category of player to want to try this.
It is.
Especially with this, you know, dual weight technology in every driver, but now we've got it up front in the 4 with east to west, like he likes to say. That was a little mishit, and I think with a prior Gen 4, it would have been way worse. That was relatively forgiving for the kind of strike I had on that.
Kept your ball speed.
Did, by a long way too. You know, we dropped into the 150s with those other mishits, but more stable, feeling more stable at least. This one, I think this one is the one not to sleep on this year. It looks great, definitely not intimidating from above here. Like, I think this is a good example to kind of like mess around with. I'm not having a great driving day here, and I'm standing here thinking, wow, the 4 might have a chance.
So notice with that one, your ball speed climbed again.
Yeah.
And as the launch came down, so you notice that flight changes a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're able to find, as we go through the 3, they do 3 different things in terms of the ball flight.
Yeah. I mean, I think people think 4, just tour players or great golfers, you know, real low spin, low launch. I think maybe the low launch should be there with the CG placement in its neutral setting at least, but it feels forgiving. It's kind of like really, really cool. Like that was a miss that I would normally see way, way left compared. I don't think that's the most left one that I've hit today.
And all things considered, it's not super far left.
No, it's least left out of all the left ones I've really kind of hit like that.
So what do you notice kind of maybe its feel or sound comparatively?
I think they get thicker feeling as you get up higher in the number. So it's like a deeper sound, deeper feeling from 2 to 3 to 4. Definitely feels more maneuverability from 2 to 3 to 4 increasing. Look-wise though, it's not like these massive changes which you might see in other driver families. 2 is tidy but sneaky forgiving. 3 is what you want to look at. 4 is surprisingly appealing this year.
And so the idea, you saw it a little bit in our new T series as well. The idea, we're trying to cater to everyone who likes to look at something a little bit different. So there's subtle differences, but the idea, if any player could get fit into any one of combination of these things. And so we want them all to still look, feel, and sound like the products we're known for.
Well, it definitely does that. If you could put the 3 models in a nutshell for people at home, be as generic as you can to help them understand the keys between the 2, 3, and 4, inspire them to want to try them, but don't pigeonhole them. It's a big task.
Yeah. So like you would say 2 model is going to be more stable, a little bit more launch and spin. 3 is going to be the most kind of well-rounded. It's going to be fast. It's going to be stable. And then the 4 is going to be your most low launch, lower spin, but still more stable than people I think are going to give it credit for.
It's awesome. It's great technology this year. We've got split mass, we've got speed sync face, we've got new dual weights in every combination. We've also got the SureFit hosel, which has been a staple for years now. I think it really is that call to action of going to get fit for these products. I think this is the biggest year for Titleist, where the crossover between each model is so tight, so adjustable, that you can have the look you want with the ball flight performance you need, but you need to be guided through that experience.
Absolutely. The biggest part now is you have all these options and all this technology. The whole goal is customizable performance. What can we do with this new tool to make it the best for you?
So it's time to take a little look at some numbers. Well, I think I'm a good and a bad example, right? I hit some pretty bad shots in there, but that's real world. The key standout, and I just kind of scanned over them, is the launch that you discussed in the theory actually comes true even with like a sporadic batch of data.
Yeah, so like, even though we're kind of hitting this stuff right out of the box without going super in depth in terms of a fitting perspective, but if we start to look at, you're living at 13.5 off launch on the 2, you see it drop when we go to the 3 model. But then what you start to notice as well in terms of the ball speed perspective, just because it's the 2 head, which means it's theoretically more stable, doesn't mean it's slow. Your best ball speeds with all 3 of these clubs are pretty similar, which is awesome to see.
Yeah. For me, it was lining up. I want to feel like I can square the club more. I think all of them are appealing to look down at. Obviously, I think today was a good example. Like if I mishit it a lot, I think I'd be erring towards the 2, like knowing that it's going to put up with my mistakes a bit better. It's going to be a little more stable. The allure is to go towards the 4 because I see that high ball speed, but I think a fitter is going to help you understand what the trade-offs for speed and forgiveness are, where that ball flight window really actually helps you get your maximum carries time after time rather than on the one perfect shot.
Yeah, so like if I'll scroll just a little bit, we can take a look at some of those 4 numbers. So maybe we love the ball speed off the 4, it comes off the face a little bit flatter than some of the other models. And that's where with a good fitting session, maybe it's a little bit of loft, maybe it's sliding weight around. Maybe we can make that 4 fly kind of like we saw the 2. You can get the best of both worlds. I can give you the height and the spin, but we get to keep the speed of that 4 model.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that. That's exactly what I need. Height, speed, spin, perfect dispersion out of one driver. I think that's what it is for you guys at home. All of these models do awesome jobs. You can see distinct differences between the launch. You can see distinct differences in between the ability for me personally to hit the ball straight. That's going to be for you guys at home. Make sure you get with a fitter, try every model, make sure you pull every lever these drivers have. Ultimate adjustability in this brand new GTS line. You are trying to find the driver that works best for you all day, every day, not just that one good shot. Book your fitting for GTS at worldwidegolf.com or visit a Worldwide Golf retail location to check out the brand new Titleist GTS line today.